Welcome to our channel, ladies and gentlemen. I want to say thank you to those who take their time to support our channel in one way or the other. To those who are watching our channel for the first time or our regular viewers who have not yet subscribed, kindly consider hitting that subscribe button and click the notification bell. The former President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta has today humiliated William Samoei Ruto for an attempted coup of the Jubilee party. A few months ago, William Samoei Ruto and Rigathi Gachagua had resolved to ensure that they rock all the affiliate parties of the Azimio. This is after Raila Amolo Odinga had called upon the Kenyan citizens to unite and ask William Ruto to open the server and to bring down the cost of living. In their defense, they started blaming the former president as the one who was pushing Raila Amolo Odinga and as the one who was ready to sponsor the mass actions and demonstrations. So in their defense, they developed mechanisms. They decided to wreck KANU, where they contacted the long-serving Secretary General and a very close ally of Gideon Moi, Mr. Nick Salat, who later ditched the party. And then in Jubilee, they met over 3/4 of the elected members of the Jubilee, who ditched Uhuru Kenyatta and pledged their support to William Ruto and Rigathi Gachagua, led by people like Sabina Chege and Jeremiah Kioni, who was nominated by the Jubilee Party to the East African Legislative Assembly. Sabina Chege was nominated and was further elected to be the minority deputy chief whip in the National Assembly. In the ODM, people like Jalango, Gideon Ochanda from Bondo, and other members of the party went to State House and pledged their support to William Samoei Ruto and Rigathi Gachagua, and they ditched Raila Amolo Odinga. So William Ruto was doing this in a bid to ensure that Raila was left alone to go on demonstration so that they can claim that this was just a Luo affair, as Rigathi Gachagua had indicated that the demonstration that Raila was calling for did not have the blessings of all Kenyans. But the one that happened in Jubilee was more ridiculous, because on 10th of February, the group that is allied to William Samoei Ruto formed what was purported to be the National Executive Council, and they met in one of the hotels in Rift Valley, and they resolved in that meeting that they were kicking out the officials of the Jubilee Party. The national chairman, David Murathe, was purportedly kicked out and replaced with Aden Kainan. The Secretary General, Jeremiah Kioni, was kicked out and replaced by the Kanini Kega. And the Treasurer, Kagwe Gichohi, was kicked out and replaced by Rachel Nyamai, the National Treasurer. After this happened, the officials led by Jeremiah Kioni went and appealed to the political parties dispute tribunal, and that case was heard today. People are waiting with bated breath because Kanini Kega group had celebrated that they succeeded in kicking out the Jeremiah Kioni group. After they had purportedly ousted these officials, they wrote a letter to the Registrar of Political Parties, led by Madam Anne Deritu. And Madam Anne Deritu looked at the letter and approved of it, said that the National Executive Council was established and they held this meeting in accordance with the Jubilee Constitution, and they ratified the ouster and kicking away of the officials in Jubilee, and she actually gave the green light that Kanini Kega and the group would take over. But Jeremiah Kioni, as I said, decided to seek for further clarity from the political parties dispute tribunal led by the chairman Desma Nungo. So today, Desma Nungo looked at the sitting and at the resolution by Madam Anne Ruto, who is leading the political the register of political parties, and he dismissed the letter from Madam Anne Ruto, saying that Madam Anne Ruto did not take her time to understand whether the National Executive Council sat down in accordance with the Constitution. And he quashed that decision and said that Kanini Kega, Aden Kainan, and Rachel Nyamai are illegally in office and cannot take over. And he further directed that any dispute should be dealt with the internal dispute resolution mechanisms. So as it stands, Jeremiah Kioni is still the Secretary General of Jubilee. David Murathe is still the Vice Chairman. And Kagwe Gichohi is still the Treasurer. And this has really humiliated William Ruto, because this was a pure attempt of political parties coup. Now, after this happened, there are a few things that just came out clearly. Number one, William Samoei Ruto is someone who has always said that he wants a very vibrant opposition. In fact, in one of the letters that he wrote to the National Assembly and the Senate, he urged the speakers to fast-track the formation of an office of official opposition, because he said that he wanted the opposition to checkmate them properly, and that is why they wanted to establish this office. Raila has since dismissed this office because William Ruto says one thing, but on the other side, he does something else. There is no way you can say that you want a vibrant opposition, yet you buy all their members. In fact, even in the bipartisan committee that is supposed to start their meetings, William Ruto Group decided to include Eden Kainan. Eden Kainan is a member of the Jubilee, and Raila Amolo Odinga dismissed that group on condition that Eden Kainan be excluded, because there's no way you can let Eden Kainan to represent the other side, yet he was elected on a Jubilee ticket. So the fallacy of William Ruto has been exposed here. Speaking from both sides of the mouth, blowing hot and cold. We can also deduce very fast that William Ruto has continued with the state capture. You all know by now that the state capture has infiltrated the IEBC, has infiltrated the judiciary, and has infiltrated even the office of the DPP. All these corners are under the capture of the executive. I thought that Madam Anne Ruto, who is leading the register of political parties, would be neutral. But after hurriedly giving the green light of an illegal sitting that attempted to ouster legally elected members of a party, I now understand that even Madam Anne Ruto has been captured and she is never neutral. Because I remember during that very time when William Ruto was trying to wreck the board from within, there's another guy who tried to register a parallel party called ODM Asili to confuse the members of the ODM, so that because they thought that this would at least give Raila some headache. I don't know where that case has ended. Maybe it's still lying with the political parties, register of political parties. So we can deduce that Madam Ruto is under state capture, and just like other independent bodies, that office is never independent. William Ruto and Rigathi Gachagua have been humiliated, because when they were trying to frustrate Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Amolo Odinga, they thought that the demonstrations will not take place. This was the reason why they wanted to wreck the Azimio party so that Raila could remain alone. But Raila continued to speak to the hearts of the nation. He told people that William Ruto needs to bring down the cost of living. And Kenyans, including those who voted for William Samoei Ruto, accepted the rallying call, and most of them were on the street telling William Ruto to bring down the cost of living, the cost of electricity, the cost of unga, the cost of fuel, the cost of education that is just too high. Raila Amolo Odinga has insisted that people open the server, and very many experts are now asking William Ruto why it is so difficult to open the server. And Raila is talking of electoral justice. We are waiting for the outcome of the bipartisan committee. When it started, we never imagined, even Rigathi Gachagua himself, never imagined that we would reach a point where they are now appointing some 7 people to meet Raila's 7-member team so that they can talk. He dismissed it, but now he realizes that it is taking a new turn of event. They didn't imagine that they would write a letter to the diplomats requesting them to deal with Raila Amolo Odinga. Neither did they imagine that Chris Coons, the Delaware senator, would come and sit down to try and convince Raila Amolo Odinga. They dismissed it. They thought it was a trivial thing. But they have been exposed and they have been humiliated because all the attempts have been thwarted. They wrote a letter to the diplomats. Raila countered this letter. They tried even killing Raila Amolo Odinga, targeting his vehicle with the 9 bullets. Raila has written a letter to the ICC. They have done everything and they have exhausted all their bullets. But the Azimio has remained strong. The other day, they even revealed that they wanted Kalonzo Musyoka so that he could occupy the position of the Foreign Affairs Cabinet Secretary. Kalonzo refused. They have tried everything. And today, the political parties dispute tribunal gave or hit the last nail on the coffin by dismissing their illegal attempted coup of the Jubilee party and said that Jeremiah Kioni, David Murathe, and Rachel Nyamai will remain the legally recognized officials in the Jubilee party. And with this, Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta has run supreme on William Samoei Ruto. And the good thing is that we have now known the software of William Samoei Ruto and Rigathi Gachagua. The hardware is that sings in church, that will always organize for interdenominational prayers, but the software is full of vengeance, is full of someone who wants to wreck political parties. You all know him now. And I think Uhuru Kenyatta is very happy, but William Ruto must go to the drawing board because everything is not just working for him. I don't know what to think, but that is my take.